Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for today's video because first, we're not diving into anything new. We are going to start trying out some makeup to see what I think for my wedding that's coming up in April. I have talked about it in other videos where I plan on doing my own makeup for the wedding, and I'm going to start trying out different makeup that's already in my collection or releases that are coming out between now and then to see what makeup I want to wear on that day. It's not going to be in Norfolk, Virginia in April where it's like still in the 60s, 70s. It's going to be down in Mexico and it's going to be a little bit warmer, but I want to know what makeup I want to wear, if it's going to last, and if it's going to stay sweat proof because it might be a little warm. But you guys, before we jump into it, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for notifications of new videos. If you like this video, make sure to hit a big thumbs up. But if you want to see what makeup I tried out for my first wedding makeup trial and how I got this look, just keep watching. Before we jump into the video, you guys, I do want to thank Rose Forever for partnering with me. They sent me these flowers a couple months ago and they have been holding up so beautifully in my backdrop. Every time I come into my beauty room, I see them and they're just so gorgeous. They did share with me that they are starting their Black Friday sale. It started on November 5th and they are doing up to 40% off on some of their different arrangements. But they also gave me a code for you guys to use during that sale where you get an additional $20 off. The code is AshleyBF. I will have it linked down below so you can absolutely utilize that if you want to pick up some Rose Forever for yourself. They last for up to a year. They are absolutely stunning. They have so many different varieties, different display cases. Take the opportunity if you want to have flowers that don't just last a week or a couple days. These have been in my videos for, I want to say it's been 3 months so far, and I absolutely love having them. But you guys go check them out. I will link them down below. Okay, you guys, I've hinted at needing to do this video. I've talked about the fact that I'm planning on doing my own makeup for my wedding in April, which is down in Mexico. The downside right now is in Norfolk, it's right now 65 degrees. The weather's only getting cooler, but I have Pilates this afternoon and I don't necessarily sweat my butt off like I do when I go and do cardio or weights at the gym, but I still get a little bit of a glisten. So I figured I would do my makeup, which I don't usually do for Pilates, and we would test the makeup that way because if I can work through everything I need to do today on my task list, which is a lot of stuff for prep for next week, and then Pilates, and my makeup still sustain until I take it off later on tonight around like 8 or 9 o'clock, then maybe I'll have a better idea. And some of the products that I have on my table, I wore yesterday to Wine Fest, which did get up to 75 degrees. I was sweating a little bit and it still looked good. So I figured we would go through everything. I do have some inspo pics. I'll put them on the screen so you can kind of see what I'm looking at wanting to do. My dress is kind of a blushy champagne tone, not a true white. It's just, I wasn't drawn to any other dresses except this one. And it's funny because I didn't realize the dress that I tried on was the only one that was on my Pinterest board. I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes while I talk through this. I'm using my MAC paint pot. It's in the shade Painterly. One of my favorites. It's got a big divot. But I mean, granted, I'm not going to show you guys the dress. I know Luke will sometimes watch my videos, so I'm not really trying to give too much away. He does know the color because we've picked a color story. Well, I gave him a couple options and he chose out of those options. And one of those colors ends up being the blushy pink tone. And he knows about that, but he doesn't know what it looks like. None of that. I mean, and then I had a couple questions like, is it really important for you to have a wedding? Because both of us had been married previously. And I was like, if you don't want to go, you don't have to say anything, just don't go. But for Luke and I, we want to have a wedding and we are going to be at our location for a week. So we're going to get there a couple days before. We're going to be there a couple days after. We've already let some of our friends know because they've asked, they're like, hey, when are you guys getting there? What exact, like they know the date because of the invite. But then they asked, they're like, are you guys staying there for a little bit or are you guys going on a honeymoon? And we're like, no, we're going to stay there. And anyone that wants to hang out and party with us or just do stuff like excursions or whatnot, like the more the merrier, because yes, it's a wedding to celebrate our love and us being together, but we also love our friends and family and if you've spent the money to come down to Mexico to celebrate with us, stay and have a party. Like, let's have a lot of fun. Let's have a blast. So I know a couple that have already booked for the exact dates that we're going to be there. Jamie and Rob are one couple, and then friends with Luke, they're going to be there. So it's going to be a ball. The other thing is, we're staying at the resort where the wedding is. We can go and do our own things, and we can meet back up and do meals and whatever. So it's fine. There's tons of stuff to do. But Luke and I we love spending time with our friends and family. And if we need to get away and just spend time ourselves. So this is the palette that I chose, the Glam palette from Natasha Denona. And I'm not going to do all the swatches. This has been one of my very loved palettes. A lot of times when I do my glam looks for balls, like the Marine Corps ball or CB ball, like this is the palette that I choose. The only thing, and I haven't decided if I want the crease to be tan or pink, but this palette does not have a pink shade in it, except for this shimmer, which I don't hate, but we'll see. That's what it is, October. By the time you see this, it might be November that it's posted, but I have time to finalize. And that's why when I'm looking at the makeup that's in front of me, everything that I have will go into my little bin. And when I transcribe my notes for my video, I'll still have what shades did I use, specifics, because when I pack my makeup bag for the wedding, those specific things will be in that bag, and it will be separated from everything else. This is specifically for the wedding day. All right. Let's dive in. I'm going to go into this light tan shade, which is labeled Crease. There's another one, it's called Blend, and I think I'll probably drop that down lower. But this one, pick up on my fluffy crease brush. It's like a cool toned taupey gray. Now looking at some of my inspo pics, some of them have the hard line, and I was like, I could do that, but I'm not always a fan of the hard line when it comes to my shadows. I like it to be a little bit more feathered and nothing too crazy, but at the same time, we've got time to practice and play around and see and tweak things. But the nice thing, since I've been doing my YouTube channel since 2018, so this is my 7th year. September 2018 is when I started my channel, and my makeup skills have evolved and changed, and then of course watching other YouTubers or TikToks and seeing different techniques that people try, my own techniques have changed. All right, so that's where we've started so far. I'm gonna go into the shade Blend. Also on the fluffy crease brush, we're just gonna bring it a little bit lower in the crease. I also talked about how I've had my makeup done for events, and I didn't like after everything's said and done and I've paid the money, and then I go and when I'm there, I'm like, oh, it looks good. And then I get ready and I'm like, I don't love my makeup. And I don't want, especially because we only get there a couple days before the wedding. So there's not really time to do, I have a hair trial, a hair run through, which is going to be super, pretty simple. But I don't have enough time to do, makeup, and then if I don't like it, tweak it. And I'd rather just play around with makeup myself. And then that day, because our wedding's not until the evening, around 5:30. So we have all day to get ready. Okay, where that's going. I'm going to go into the shade Smoke. This one's a little bit deeper. We're going to go onto our large compacted smudge brush. This one I'm going to start a little bit more in the center of the eye and then work our way out. I think I picked up way too much, but we're going to stamp this right here. So at least once the hair is done, or even if I have to do my makeup before the hair, that's why I want to test to see. Right now it's 10:02. I need to leave the house by 11:30 to get to Pilates. So I have an hour and a half to do my makeup. Do I think it's going to take me that long? It shouldn't. My everyday work makeup, and this is a little bit more, only takes me about 20 minutes. But because I'm talking and conversating, this is going to take me a little bit longer. Okay, so we've deepened that up. I have my pencil brush. We're going to switch to the lash line shade. So this one for the lash line right here. Pick it up on my pencil brush, tap it off. I'm just going to place it and stamp it along the lash line, and then we can start blending it out. And I'm slowly building. I do not want it to be full-blown smoky eye. I just want it to be kind of like a brownish black with a little bit of black, more brown than anything. See, I like that right now where it's just got kind of a hint just right there on the edge. Mind you, I will also still have liner on, maybe. Now I'm going to go into this shade right here, and this one is for the inner corner. I'm going to pick it up on my ring finger. I'm going to place it right here in the center. And then of course the little silicone spatula, we'll just pick up a little bit, finesse it right here in the corner. And then once I do all my base products, we'll definitely deepen up and finesse the outer corner area. But let me go do this eye. I'll be back for the rest of it. Okay, I have the Fenty Beauty Grip Mattifying and Blurring Primer. This has quickly become one of my favorites lately, but we're still going strong. Like, I only need about 2 pumps. Okay, I wore this foundation yesterday, and I used to use the MAC Studio Fix when I was younger, and it was great. I absolutely loved it. It stayed put. Like, I could be doing freshwater wash down on the ship, which we'd have the fire hoses out. We would be soaking wet, drenched, and my makeup would still be in place. And everyone's like, how? And I'm like, I have good makeup. But this is the MAC Studio Radiance. It's a serum powered foundation. This is so freaking good. I have mine in the shade 18. And we've talked about it in other videos, or I've talked about it, that I like a glowy foundation, and then I set it with my mattifying setting powder to just lock it all in. Should be good enough. And then, so I'll start with this, and then if I need to add more, I will. Like, MAC Studio Fix was my tried and true, and I had it in like 3 different shades, just depending on the time of year. But that was all I used. I didn't try anything else. I mean, I was young and I had a lot of money, but that was the one thing I would splurge on, was that foundation. But now as I've gotten older, it's a little bit thicker. And I like the Radiance because it's glowy. It looks like second skin. It's not as thick. And this has some great coverage. Luke's texting me. His ship went without Wi-Fi for a couple days, so he warned me. He was like, you're not going to hear from me. And I was like, fantastic. But now they're back up, and I was still sending him videos and photos of Dixon and like just updates, because I figured like once he gets Wi-Fi, he's gonna get all those, so he'll know like what we did in a day, or like if I was thinking about him or whatnot. But I also know when they're told that, and I know this because I'm also in, but if they're taking down Wi-Fi or internet and it's planned, it's because of their mission. It's because they're doing stuff that they don't want slipping out. So I just kind of distracted myself. This weekend has been a lot of fun. I went with Jamie and Rob to Seafood Fest on Friday. Yesterday we had Wine Fest with my friends Erin and her team at 𝐻RVA Homes, they helped me buy my house when I moved back to Norfolk. They helped Luke and I buy this house when my house wasn't big enough for Luke, Grandma, and I. Like, it was big enough, it's just the layout of my bathroom in my house was not conducive to my grandmother getting around. And when we found this house, it was more accessible for her, which Luke bought this house, I bought the other house. So he definitely was like willing to accommodate, because he knew how much grandma like meant to me. And anyways, I'm gonna make myself cry trying to do this. But yeah, so we spent time with their team yesterday at Wine Fest. They always have like a chalet, and then all their VIPs, people who have bought with them or referred people, they do it big for everyone. And we just had a great time. I took Jamie with me. All right, so for bronzer contour, I'm going to use my Too Faced, what is this? Melting Bronzing and Sculpting Stick in Chocolate Souffle. This is really good. I also don't need a lot to just get that sun-kissed glow. And I don't, so for my makeup at the wedding, I don't really want like the gray. I just kind of want like the bronzy sun-kiss, especially because we're going to have time on the beach before we go. So I don't want it to like be grayish and subdued. I just kind of stamp it into place, because I feel like when I draw it on, I get too much. I just stamp it. And I'll start here, and if I need to add more, then I can. I just made sure that I placed it above where the actual like natural divot is. When I get back from my trip we have the Marine Corps ball, so I'll have another opportunity to test out makeup. We just kind of have like a natural, like bronzy. And I don't need it to be like too intense when it comes to bronze or anything like that. I just want a natural bronze effect on my forehead and my cheeks. I think I need a little bit more, just right here, just into the hairline. Okay, nice and bronzy. Now for concealer, I have my YSL All Hours Precise Angles. This one looks so gorgeous under the eyes. I have my shade in LN4. Definitely need my coffee for today. All right, now for concealer. And this is why I don't need to like tape it to get that harsh line, because I finally switched over to using a brush for my concealer, and it is a game changer. It's not always like my favorite, but like the only thing that I have is if it like gets too harsh up there, I just take my sponge and just kind of melt it out and press it in. Now I do also have my Huda Beauty Faux Filter. No, this is the blush filter. I'm thinking the faux filter is the concealer. This is the blush filter. So I have mine in the shade Sunset Lychee and Cotton Candy. This is a beautiful combo. I was wearing this combo a lot in the spring. And I know it looks intense right now, but once we powder everything, it won't be. I love how glowy it is on the skin, especially before I set it. It just makes it so glowy and healthy looking. Okay, there's that. And then we have the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder in Cupcake. This is one of my favorites. I just press out the under eye just to make sure there's no creasing or wrinkles. It never fails. It always creases right there. It's fine because right up here, you can barely see the lines, which I absolutely love. Like this foundation does not sink into my lines up here. I'm so thankful for that. I will try and remember to do a check-in before I take my makeup off with no touch-ups. I'll have to set a reminder. I always go into like the spots where like it's hard to reach because of like a sponge with my brush to just make sure that they're set properly. Okay, and see the cheeks are toned down, which I really appreciate. We are going to put a blush on top of this to just kind of set it all in. We'll do that in a minute. I want to finish off the eyes, like how they're looking right now. We do need to fix this one a little bit to like even it out on this side. I'm gonna go into the shade Blend. This one on my little tiny compacted smudge brush, we're going to take underneath the lash line. I don't want to go into crease because it is cool toned. I want to keep that in just the shadow area right here. But Blend has a little bit warmer of a tone, so I like it for under the eye. Into the shade Smoke, just here in the outer corner. Then into the shade for Lash Line. This one I'm going to pick up on my I'm going to switch my pencil brush. I'm going to pick it up ever so slightly, place it right here, just kind of wiggle it back and forth. Okay. Now I'm going to go back into Smoke, which is that dark brown shade on my compacted smudge brush. And right here on this outer edge, just make sure the shimmer's not too far. And then into the crease. Okay. Cut that a little bit more under control. And then this side needs to be finessed a little bit more, so I'm going back into the shade for Lash Line and just making sure that's just a little bit more precise. Make sure that they match. I'm gonna ask you guys to let me know what you think when everything is done, because I can be my own judge and like, okay, I like it, I like it. But also, I'm sharing this adventure with you because I want to know what your honest opinion is. If you don't like it, I want to know why. Like, what are your thoughts for wedding makeup? Like, is it too intense? Does it need to be toned down? Let me know. All right, so I did say we're going to put a powder blush on top of this to kind of just set it into place. And I did a video recently and I was like, this is it for the wedding, I think. So this is the Make Me Blush or powder blush from YSL in the shade 223. All right. Because the one thing with blush, it will fade. And so I wore this yesterday and it was really pretty, but I didn't put a cream blush underneath it. So when it started to fade out, I didn't have the same shade and I don't want it to be faded out at the wedding. So now, the cream blush underneath and then the powder blush on top. And then over here, it's just a little bit more subdued. So when this powder blush fades out over time, because it will, we'll still have that wash of creamy blush underneath. But trying to find like the right shade, and I didn't want it to be too pink or too plummy or purpley. I didn't want it to be too cool toned. I want something that like looks like I'm sun-kissed. So I like this, but it seems like it might be a little bit too dark for the wedding. Like looking at it, I was like, huh, it's a bit intense. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. I still have more time to play around with it. Now for highlighter. So I had the original Dior Backstage and they've released some new ones. So I picked up the shade Pearly Peach Glow. Also, like, they've changed the cover on it. So this is the new one. This is the original one that I have, which I wore this one yesterday. Really enjoy it, but I like the peachy glow. So I wanted to try this one out. They did also release a bluish one, which is really pretty. I wore it the other day. So this is the Frosted Opal Glow. I'll have to find another time to like play around with this one. But I saw this, I was like, I don't need it. I really want it. Now for wedding, I'm thinking the peachy glow. So let's go ahead. I'm thinking for the inner corner, I want to use this shade, which it doesn't say, like on the back of the original, it tells you like blush, strobe. So technically this is like a blush. This pink one's like a blush topper. This is supposed to be bronze. And then these two are strobes. On the back of here, there's nothing. It says, so we're going to play with it how we want to. Okay. It's kind of warmer toned than the eyeshadow. It's fine. That's why we play around and see and do makeup trials for ourselves. So what I ended up doing is I ended up mixing this one and this one together. And I'm wondering if the glitter is just too glittery and I need to go into just this shade in the inner corner. Oh yeah, it looks like that's giving more of like a pop. Okay. Now we're just gonna go into this shade for the brow bone. I don't know if this is like the highlighter for the wedding. For the cheeks, I'm gonna do all of it. Just, it's pretty. I don't know that I'm getting like peachy from it. The great thing is I have 2 drawers full of highlighter and I can find the right one for the wedding day. Because I don't know that this is, I don't know if this is it. I'll see Jamie in a little bit. She'll give me an unfiltered opinion. I told her what I was planning on doing and she's like, oh, that's a good idea. Especially because like, we'll just get like a little bit of sweat, but it's not like gross sweat when we do Pilates. And I was like, it's the only way I can think of testing in cold weather right now. And I don't want to wait until like March and not have anything figured out. So I don't hate it, but I don't know that I love the highlighter. We'll see. We'll see. For brows, I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Brow Lift. Mine's in the shade Medium Brown. This one is so good. Makes it so easy to just kind of like flick it in, no effort, and it's the right shade. Now, I do have an appointment on Monday, tomorrow. I have an appointment tomorrow to get my hair colored. The girl that had been doing my hair, she had a baby and was on baby leave. So this will be my first time seeing her since I got back from Germany. One of her friends did my hair last time. But we're going to be doing something. We're not doing something completely different this time, but in January, the next time I'm supposed to get my hair done, I have thoughts and I've already sent her a photo and she's like, oh, I'm here for it. But we're going to do stuff tomorrow to kind of get us to January into what I want to do. So I may have, depending on how my hair looks, I might have to change the color of my brow pencil. I had to reset, so it'll let me film for like 29 minutes before it cuts off. So I just decided to cancel it first and then just restart it so we had time. All right, so right here, talked about it in other videos, like when I'm trying to line up and figure out where to start my eyebrows, I always go against the side of my nose. I let it hit the first part of my like eyebrow or my eye socket and then go up from there. And then I always do the underneath to just kind of give that ledge and get this shape. It looks weird. What the heck is going on? Oh, I went too high up. I was like, there's a weird arch right there in the beginning. Fixed it. All right, so that's what this one will eventually look like. I'm gonna go do this one. I'll be back for everything else. Okay, now to make the brows stay. My favorite, because I want my brows to be like fluffy and not matted to my forehead, is the Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax. The best way I have found to do this is I always disperse it backwards, getting all the underneath of the hairs, and then going through them in the direction that they should be laying down. You guys, it's so funny because I fed Sochu earlier, but she doesn't eat it all at once. She likes to savor her wet food. And Dixon's passed out. He's kind of snoring. But she's over here gobbling down her food in the noisiest manner ever. Sochu. She just looked at me like, who are you talking to? Do you not see that I'm busy? I love that her cat tree is in my beauty room. She would claim that it's her room though. All right, for liner, I have the Revant Gel Eyeliner. This is one of my favorites. It just stays put. At the end of the night when I'm using my makeup melting balm to get my makeup off, I will still have remnants in my lash line and I'm like, oh, I need you to come off. So it's usually on like the second cleanse that the rest of it comes off, but it will not budge. And this is what I need on the day of the wedding. And they sent it to me. They sent me the black shade as well as like 5 other shades. I have like brown, blue, green, purple, and gray. These are so good. I always link them down below so you can go and check them out if you're interested. And I think my code is Ashley Lorraine. They're so good. This does not budge. This and the L'Oreal Infallible Gel Liner. Perfect. All right, so there's that. Now for liner, the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner. This is really good. I need it to stay put. The one thing that I've stopped doing is taking my eyeliner all the way in to this corner. I've been bringing it to about like 1/4 of the way in just to give myself like a little bit of a like taper off. I made my eyes water while I was doing my liner. I hit like right here by my eye. And I'm like, oh, I always do my outer corners first before I do everything else. And then I just press along the lash line. For the wedding, I will probably do magnetic lashes. So if that happens, if I decide to switch to magnetic lashes, and today I'm not doing lashes for Pilates, it would be a different eyeliner. But if I just do mascara, it'll be this liner. Why does this one seem like it's more pronounced than this one? Because it was. It's fine. Curl the lashes. It's a must. And then for mascara, I just recently picked this up and it is so freaking good. This is the YSL Lash Clash Mascara. I've been contemplating like if I need to pick up the waterproof. It's been staying in place. This one or the Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerize or the Huda Beauty One Coat Wow, like these three, delicious on the eyes. So good. But this one for sure. And this is the one that they recommend like 5 coats. And I'm like, I can't do 5 coats. 3 had me going, are you sure? And yesterday I only did 2 coats and I got compliments on my lashes. All right, so technically 1 coat. And I only, like, whatever came out on the wand did both lashes. I never dipped back in. So now on to the second coat. It's only 2 coats. I don't know that I need a third. Now, I like to set my face before I do my lips, and I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray because we still have like a healthy glow right now. I don't want to mattify this down. I want to see what it looks like. Like if I left it like this where it's kind of glowy, how is it going to look like at the end of the night? Am I going to look like a disco ball? Or am I just going to have that like nice ethereal like glowiness? Now for lips, I have three of my favorites. So the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil Extreme. So this one is supposed to be waterproof, stay proof, like it's not supposed to budge. I have the original for Wherever Walnut, and this is also in Wherever Walnut, but this is supposed to last for a long freaking time. Yeah, waterproof lip liner. Why does this one always look like it's flat? Okay, good for now. And then I have the Pat McGrath Nude Romantic 2. So beautiful. It's kind of cool toned, so I'm not completely sure. But I also love how glossy it is, and it is a gorgeous shade. It offsets well with the lip liner. So if I just wanted to leave it here, I could. I like this lip combo. I find myself gravitating to it quite a bit. Now, I haven't decided if I want it to just be like this where it's a little bit shiny or go super glossy, and that's why I pulled out the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Big Lip Plumpgasm. This one is the fair to medium, so it's the lighter of the two shades. And then of course there is the new Strawberry Chocolate, which is pretty and it has glitter in it, but if I've got shimmer up here, I don't know that I want glitter on my lips. I just kind of want like the juicy glossiness and the pillowy lips. Like, okay, you guys, I said I would do a check-in later on in the day. It's now 5:45. I finished my makeup around 11 o'clock, so it's roughly 6.5 hours later. The only thing I've touched up is my lip gloss. My hair is looking crazy. Like, the humidity has just made it frizz everywhere. It's fine. I've been running errands. I've been trying to get stuff together for my trip and then getting stuff prepped for the week, which is thankfully a short week because I'll be flying out on Wednesday. But I wanted to check back in and just assess the makeup. And with the Pilates class that we did, it was the cardio sculpt. So I know I sweat during that one. And even through the working out and the sweating and then running errands, like my makeup looks really glowy, but not so much so that it's like horrible. So I think even with like, cause I had it just dripping down my face and I could feel where it was like at my eye, corners of my eye. I was like, oh, I'm sure it's gonna be a mess. But my makeup looks pretty freaking good right now. Like right here, and I don't know how to get that to stop. Like right here, I sweat, and sometimes like, depending on the foundation, the sweat will push through and it's not pretty. I forgot, what was it, the Lawless foundation? Luke is usually pretty, like, he's not really involved in the makeup, but that time it was Winefest, I think last year. And Luke is like, honey, did you try something new? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, the foundation. Like, no. I looked and I was just kind of like, oh, wow. But Mr., I don't really have an opinion about your makeup. Or are you, he'll be like, oh, are you wearing makeup? And I'm like, yes, I'm wearing makeup. Lots of makeup. And he's like, oh, it looks natural. No, sir, it does not. Glowy, like right through here. I'm oily. I've got my lines. So it looks like the lines are holding steady. There is a little bit of creasing underneath the eye, a little bit more than like normal. I think concealer is going to be one of those things that I definitely have to pinpoint because depending on, like, this isn't the worst I've had a concealer crease on me. This YSL is one of my favorites, but I also like the Natasha Denona. Dior has a good one. Revlon has, or no, Maybelline has a really good serum concealer. So does NYX. So those ones are on the top of my list to try first to pinpoint. For foundation, I think this might be the foundation. I'm going to try a couple others just to see. But I like how my skin looks. It stayed put, except for like right here where I've got like my lip creases, like it's not horrible. And then of course, like lines are usually an issue and I don't have a problem as bad as I've had in the past with other foundations. The blush is holding up. It's nice and glowy. It's just got a really pretty flush. And then the eyes. I like how the shadow has held up. This is the MAC Paint Pot. I used to use the P. Louise base and I still have it. It's not completely gone. I use it for work. Especially on the days that I know that I'm gonna like take my makeup off and do a tutorial. But the MAC Paint Pot, so even with like working out and sweating, my eyelids are not creasy and they definitely could, but the Glam palette also held up really nicely. And even though the mascara is not waterproof, it hasn't like streamed down my face. I don't have any like black streaks for my mascara. And then the waterline liner has stayed put. It's not horrible. I have a couple things that I myself am like, okay, maybe I could tweak it, like the concealer. I'm going to try out a couple more, see what I like. The lips, I've only touched up the lip gloss. I didn't add any more lip liner. I didn't add any more lipstick. It's just the lip gloss on top of what was already there and worn down. And we stopped to have lunch after Pilates. I've had a couple snacks. Definitely been drinking my water to stay hydrated. So the lips do wear off. It just depends on what I decide to wear. But the lip liner definitely stayed in place. And then the lip gloss has a tint to it. So it's a good filler, and lip gloss is easy. Like, you don't have to be very precise with it. So it might be the right lip combo. I don't know if I want to go this dark, but I also know if I go too pale, then we get concealer lips. And I'm not a fan of that. Let me know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. Let's have that conversation. If you have recommendations, if you're oily skin, have some lines, like, what are your favorite products? And if you're doing an event, what product is your like tried and true? Do you have any recommendations? If it's in my collection, I will try it out. I am here for tips, tricks, anything that you guys want to suggest. And then let me know what you think about the eyeshadow. Jamie said it wasn't too dark, but I'm also thinking about using like a pinky tone because of the color of the dress. I'm not completely sure. I know what I found on like my Pinterest inspos. This is just the first one. We have time, you guys. I'm here for your suggestions. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, you guys are gonna have to let me know your thoughts. I know what I think of it. I like the eyes. They're pretty. I don't know if I wanna go this dark for the wedding, but I like the shimmer. I like how it looks. You guys saw my inspiration photos that I got off of Pinterest, but those are very like grayy smoky too. So I might need to see what it looks like if I did kind of like a pinky tone to it. I do like the blush. My foundation looks really good. It looks flawless, like the pores. So this combo right here is so good. I will say this primer with some other foundations, those foundations don't necessarily like the primer and will like sink into my lines. I can see the lines a little bit, but it's not falling in. I know the lines are there. That's the other thing. I know they're there. If I didn't point them out, did you know that I had those? But as far as my skin, like with the Too Faced Contour Bronzer Stick, the blush is really pretty. And I'm interested to see how it fades out, knowing that just the powder yesterday, it faded out. And it was there. It was just like a kiss of blush. But I'm interested to see later on tonight, like it's 11 o'clock right now. I've got Pilates, I need to pack for Paris, I need to prep my uniform for tomorrow. There's a lot of things that I need to do around the house when I get back. So I'm intrigued to see, after doing all my tasks that I have scheduled for myself, what does my makeup look like? I know the lip's not going to last all day. It happens. And I know I could do a lip liner stain for my lips. I could even do the 𝐂𝐓𝐇 lip oil stain. I love that. But I don't know. I haven't decided completely. But I know that I like this lip combo. I'm going to see how it wears. I know that sometimes certain lip glosses, certain lipsticks will feather. I need to see what this looks like after Pilates, after we grab lunch. Did it feather or anything like that? I know that the lip liner will usually, I've got these little like lines around my lips, and I haven't, like, I'm not to the point where I'm like, ooh, let's go get filler. It's not my idea of fun, but if I can like naturally with makeup hide those things, I'm here for it. You guys are gonna have to let me know your thoughts. Do you think I should tone it down? Do you think it's fine? I wanna know. Put it in the comments. Let's have that conversation. But you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for notifications, new videos. And if you like this video, make sure to hit a big thumbs up. Until my next video, you guys, bye. I'll see you in the next one.